No, that says incapacitated, not decapitated. That's a very big difference. Of course, the one can lead to the other. Yes, you are correct in that. Anyway, hey. I was in the middle of a conversation. It's kind of rude of you to butt in, but you know what? While you're here, hey, hello. Infinite regression. You digging this? You digging this? Kind of a lost soul are you, huh? Coming in here, lost soul? Feeling lost? Feeling like you found yourself amongst other lost souls? You did. Bring her in. Bring her in. Come here. Come here, you. Come here. Hey, look. I don't give out many opportunities for hugs. You bring it in. You bring it in. You bring that hug in. You bring it in. Look, I don't go hugging at people all the time. And this one time I offer, and you're like, oh, I don't know if maybe you bring it in. Oh my God. Like, you know what? 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 Hey, these dingus cats are gonna be murdered of each other, and I don't condone it. I wish I could say that the remainder of the evening could be free of kitty-type interruptions, but I can make no such promises. Anyway, I was gone for a minute. I know that when I hit the unpause button, I'm immediately back, and no time seems to have passed for you, but I was working out kitty troubles, and that's not what the infinite regression is for. It's for joy and happiness, because it's terrifying. What? I don't. Anyway, let's do the thing. Weekend Type Fun Volume 3. A racket. Wait, that's not the right voice. We got to go all the way back. Take it all the way back. Let's take it back. Hey, are you the guy? Are you the guy? Are you the guy? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we're back. Okay there, I got you your Weekend Type Fun Volume 3 over there. A racket to the friggin' moon, okay? Just know, I got fancy with the slides. I did it for you. No, not you. The one behind you. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you. Oh, you. You. Yeah. Yeah, you. Sexy beast. You're a beast. A beast of sexiness. You just get beastly when it's sexiness times for being sexy. You beast. Hey, I'm not looking at the one in front of you, nah. Oh. Hey, no, bring it back in. Bring it back in. I was breathing in while I was drinking water, and it gave me a little bit of a burp. I really shouldn't have done that, especially not in front of you. You. You sexy beast. You're the one I did it for. I need you to know that. Okay, on to our next bit of entretien, as they say in certain parts of Belgium, I've been led to believe. Entretien de Belgique. Entretien de Belgique. I'm pretty sure I pronounced that like a Walloon. Anyway, ads for drugs that don't get ads. You know how you see drug ads and they're like, this one will give you the mange, drought, dropsy, long pad, itchy tongue, genital sweating. It'll give you the hinky dinkies, the jeebie jeebies. You'll have the jeebie jeebies for a solid month. But you know what? You got rid of that headache. You did. So those are the drugs that you do see. Those are the ones where it's like, hey kid, come here, the first one's free. That's how I get you. The first one's free. That's how I get you. No, I say you even when I've already established what it would sound like. Maybe it would be better for me to say you. No, I say yeah every time. No, that's how I talk with you. Yeah, me and ya, pals for life. Anyway, look ya. All right, ads for drugs that don't get drugs. Wait, maybe I'm on drugs. No, don't. I'm not on drugs. Kids, hey, don't do drugs. Don't do drugs. They're a dead-end street to Nowheresville. The drugs, kids. No. Okay, I'm talking about medications. Here's the thing I pointed out many times. Hey, it's time for the podcast, all right, everyone? Let's put on some sensible jazz. Get yourself a penny loafer. Put on a nice soft cardigan. Find that bubble pipe you used to blow bubbles out of, and imagine if you can cup it in your hand just so it might look like a real pipe, and people would be like, wow, is that some sort of college professor? And you'll be like, oh, I forgot my jacket with patches on the elbow. Anyway, let's get serious for a moment. Hey, let's get serious for a moment. All right? Serious XM satellite radio. Serious. That's how I'm saying it when I'm saying it in my head. I'm not saying it with the ERIOUSLY. Seriously. I was saying serious. I shouldn't have put the LY in the end. I realize that now. I was thinking about SIRIUS. Serious. XM satellite radio. Let's get serious for a moment. Look. I can focus. Perfectly capable of focusing. Don't act like the focus has not been wokus. The focus has been wokus. Okay, let's get down to it. We set out to do it. We're going to do it. By Jove. Yes, let's reference pagan gods. Yes, Jove. Anyway, ads for drugs that don't get ads. So you see, it's going to be a thing where it's like, you see like Tylenol and aspirin all the time. You see like, oh, I'm going to poop my pants. You got the, ooh, I'm going to poop my pants if I don't. But they're always like, stomach problems. You gotta get you some stomach problems. You better get a stomach problem pill. And it's like, no, I'm gonna make a poo-poo caca in my adult grown-up pants. And if I don't hurry home hard enough, perhaps in public. Doo-doo caca. Doo-doo caca. Doo-doo caca. Remember that Brazilian footballer, Kaká? Of course, when I say football, I mean the kind where you kick the ball with your foot, not the kind where you hold it with your hand and possibly, give it a light, sort of a light toss to a teammate, and hope that he does not get snaggled by a defenseman. Anyway, regardless, let's move on. These are drugs for ads that don't get drugs. Ad number 1. Are you mega super ultra gay? Now, before you're like, wait, where is this? Is this going in a bad place? Remember what this is. This is ads for drugs that don't get ads. So here's where we start. Are you mega super ultra gay? This is pretty gay. This is like the gayest image I could think of. Actually, no, if I'm being perfectly honest, and this is not me joking, this is me being 100% serious. The gayest thing I have ever seen, and I've seen some gay things. I was a theater major in college. I've seen things. I had a man hit on me while I was holding hands with the girl that I was dating at the time. Because, obviously she was my love interest in the play that we were in together. My very first play, as a matter of fact, in college. Not my very first play ever. Anyway, but yeah, we were holding hands and like very much like, oh, just like so young and dumb and stupid and not realizing how little regard we would have for each other a very short several more months. But yeah, we at the time we were very like la da da da, and the guy was like, "Hey, if you ever want to come over to the dark side, we have cookies and nightly nookies." And I'm like, "But a woman with handhold," and he's like, "No, I think if you search deep down inside yourself, that you will know." and unfortunately, I do not know. Let's be perfectly honest, okay? This, I'll just, like, I will, this is me being 100% honest. This is not ironic or ridiculous at all, but, like, I've always known that I'm not the straightest of guys. It's not that I'm gay, it's not that I'm bi, it's just that, like, I'm not revulsed by the idea about talking about the physical attributes or attractiveness of other men. I mean, okay, take this guy right here. He's got a very, like, nice jawline, and his furrowed brow has a certain mystique. He's a good-looking guy. I don't mind saying it. Like, of course, I would never be ridiculous enough to be like, I want to kiss with tongues a man who's dressed up like a friggin' unicorn. Like, that would never be true. There's like a level of mega super ultra gay that I can never attain because, sexuality kind of is what it is. But, like, but can I talk about the physical attractiveness of other men? Sure. Can I, like, do I think that I could ever enjoy a relationship of a romantic nature, but not necessarily a sexual nature, with another man? No, like, I don't, honestly. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. The night is young, we'll say that. Just kidding. That wouldn't happen tonight. That's ridiculous. How dare you? Anyway, I mean, here's the exception. Sir Patrick Stewart. If Sir Patrick Stewart came to my house, he's on the list. Just know there's a list. He's on it. Anyway, it's funny because, like, this actually came up, and this is the kind of crap that, like, I think with some of my students, I'm much too much of an open book. Because we were talking about the Kinsey scale, and I was like, yeah, not, like, the Kinsey scale is really close together. Like, I think it's like 1 to 6 is the original Kinsey scale. Hold up. Let's open it up and find out. Oh, dingus. Dingus and Mingus. I need a new window. Okay. That one. Okay. Kinsey scale. All right. Yeah, 0 to 6. So on yeah, make it rainbowy. That's like see that looks like, you know, the kind of thing you would, this looks like what would be published in a journal. This looks like obviously documents from the Kinsey Institute. Anyway, but yeah, a 0 would be exclusively heterosexual. A 1 is not entirely straight, obviously. But, like, what's the midpoint of straight? You know, you see this is an entire bar. That is an entire bar. Okay. So you can take it in basic, like, quadrants of heterosexual to, because it takes 1, 2, 3. Well, they wouldn't be quadrants. They would be quindrans. But anyway, yeah, is that what lies in between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, fifths. So yeah, exclusively heterosexual, exclusively homosexual. That would be, you know, 1/5 homosexual, 4/5 heterosexual. That'd be 2/5, 3/5. This is your classic bisexual. Now, see, here's the funny thing is, yeah, and then obviously, this would be your bisexual leans toward relationships with, like if it was a man, if we were talking about a man, this would be bisexual, but leans toward relationships with women. This would be bisexual, leans towards relationships with men, and this would be like classic bisexual, which I know someone who is actually. Anyway, here's the funny thing is that I've taken the test. You know, taken the test on the Kinsey scale, and you know, let's take it right now. You know, it's just like this will be the weirdest freaking video. Can I take it online? All right, dear labs. To whom are you attracted? Both men and women, mostly people of the opposite sex, mostly people of... See, like, I wouldn't say I'm actively attracted to both men and women because I am more attracted to women, but also, like, there are men that I've found attractive. Like, I put one in the guy with the tattoos from last week's video. Like, he's actually a very handsome man, you know. So, yeah. Kitties are being silly. So, mostly people of the opposite sex. But I wouldn't say exclusively. Who have you had sex with? Only people of the opposite sex. Which that's very telling, isn't it? Who have you had sexual fantasies about? I'm struggling with the idea of fantasy. Like, are we thinking like your conscious fantasy, your subconscious fantasy? You know what? I will say this. Here's one that comes up. You know how your brain is always wandering, and it's always like, and you know, I've always chalked it up to like the what's his name? Not Immanuel Kant. Think, dingus. Kierkegaard. Holy Moses. I knew it was a Danish philosopher. I should have put Danish in there, but I didn't. I don't know why my brain went the way it did. Whereas, like, I could have just put Danish philosopher Cliff, and it would have been Kierkegaard, Soren Kierkegaard, dummy. Anyway, Kierkegaard talked about how human beings, we have an overabundance of freedom, which causes us to be strange sometimes, honestly. That feeling that you get when you're in a very high place and you're like, I could jump off. Not I should jump off, and certainly not I will jump off, but I could jump off. And we all get that feeling, and it doesn't mean you're suicidal. As a matter of fact, if you have the thought and it persists and you think it's a good idea and you really want to do it, that is much more concerning. Seek professional help. Yeah. So I would say that on the same level as I have the I'm on a very high place jump off, I have had thoughts of like, what if you just kiss this guy you're talking to? You know what I'm saying? And it's not that I'm necessarily, because I don't know. I don't know if I've ever gotten the same thought when speaking to a woman, because that would feel like, I don't know. I don't know what guards are up in my mind when it comes to women that I'm like, nope, that's not a thought that we're going to have. I think maybe because it's much more accepted that it would ever be a possibility that you could just kiss a woman, because of the heteronormativity, and that, you're like, well, because heteronormativity, then it would be likely much more acceptable by myself, the other party in question, and society in general, if that were the case. I don't know. I don't know what it is. So, do I fantasize about kissing men on a regular basis? No, I don't. But has the thought crossed my mind? Sure. That's about the long and the short of it. So, it is mostly people of the opposite sex. With whom do you form strong emotional bonds? Both men and women. Like, really, honestly, that's true. What? Oh, you're on. Anyway, kitties are all around me, and I'm constantly concerned that they're getting into nonsense. Anyway, yeah, both men and women. I've had great bonds with both. Strong emotional, yeah, totally. Had with both over the years. Anyway, who do you feel the most comfortable socializing with? Honestly, because I don't do well with like alpha male types. I don't, because I'm not an alpha male. And I mean, I have some of the coping mechanisms to deal with alpha males, sense of humor, quick wit, ability, like enough background knowledge in things they find interesting to like not be completely useless in a conversation. But yeah, it is always very clear that I am not one of them. and so like it's not my favorite. Um, if I'm with a bunch of friggin' nerds, honestly, like I am exactly at home with a bunch of friggin' nerds. Uh, but like oftentimes I find myself like when there are gatherings of adults of both sexes, I do find myself often being the only man ending up on the women's side, and comfortably. Like not like I worked in libraries for a long time, and middle-aged women and we get along fantastically. Like we do have surprising overlapping interests, you know. Pull out some friggin' needlework and they're like, "Ooh," you know, like, yeah, I do some cross stitch. I'm looking at some. I actually need to make something soon because someone getting married, and I would like them to have one of my. They've shown an interest in it, but I want to make one of their own. Anyway, we'll say people of the opposite sex, I guess. I mean, if I have to go up to a random stranger that I don't know, I would prefer it be a woman rather than a man because it's harder for me to understand a lot of men. I don't know. That seems stupid. Unless he's like a certain kind of nerd. If he's a music nerd or a video game nerd, um, like there are lots of kinds of nerds that he could be. Audio equipment nerd, um, like any of the kind of nerds that I can hang with, I can hang. So I don't know. It's a hard question. Mostly because I don't socialize a lot lately because of the COVID, but also we've had our troubles as adults, my wife and I. Like, since we got engaged, like, our entire social worlds fell apart. All our single friends were just abandoned. No, I'm just kidding. We abandoned them as much as they abandoned us. But like it's been, everyone finds it hard to be social and find friends once you're an adult. It's a much more complicated thing. When you're like 5 years old on the playground, you're like, hey, we have the same shoes. And then you're like the best of friends for the next 12 years. And, and then as adults, it's like, okay, we have like 7 or 8 strongly overlapping interests, and yet I don't like you that much, and you return that feeling. Like, what? How? How though? Like, how? Anyway, um, okay, the idea of having sex with someone of the opposite sex from mine is, oh, okay, desirable. Someone of the same sex as mine. Okay, okay, this is the question. Like, you can't give me 6 questions about, like, who do you talk to at parties? And the other one is, like, who would you sleep with given the opportunity? And, like, I don't know, given a lot of opportunities, you don't know. You don't know. What is it, Tattoo Man? Is he here? What? I mean, George Carlin had a funny joke about that, about like, well, what if it's all in the dark and you don't know, and then just you do what you do and everybody has a good time, and it is what it is. Like, that was the George Carlin approach. Like, it just, there you go. You did it. You did it. And it was dark and it doesn't matter. No need for shame or anything else. Anyway, uh so yeah, the question, like, okay. Let's start from the opposite end of the spectrum. Okay, disgusting, like, I wouldn't say disgusting because obviously, like, we're assuming attraction in the first place. Well, no, if you assume attraction, that's half the ball game. Uh, because yeah. Anyway, uh, so yeah, like it's not disgusting. Like it's funny because there are a lot of guys who are like physically revulsed by the idea of like even a smidge of gayness. Like uh there was a pride flag that a boy in one of my colleagues' classes was trying to touch another boy with the pride flag. The other boy wouldn't even let it touch his skin, you know, which is like such a revulsion to gayness and to the idea of being with other men that it's like, wow, you must be a 0 on the Kinsey scale. Like you must be hard not. Like, mm-mm. Anyway, yeah. So not disgusting. Negative would be like, oh, I'm not gonna like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, this is gonna be terrible. I have this attitude that I get sometimes when, like, you know, I have too much grading and I need to take like multiple days out of a week and be like, I'm not gonna play video games. That's what happened a while back. Like it wasn't, or this last week or so. I haven't been updating this channel very often because like I had a lot of work to do, and so like um yeah, I just did not get updated. And and it's funny cuz like that's exactly how I felt, is like I would rather be playing video games and doing stuff on my channel than or even just listening to my terrible insufferable hippie music, or you know, doing something creative, or like just spending time in my own way rather than having to do the tremendous amount of work that I had to do. And so realizing that I was going to have to sacrifice a lot of my free time to doing it, I said out loud like, "Oh, well, this is going to suck. And it's going to suck for this long, and it's going to be terrible, and I'm going to hate it." And I'm just realizing right now that when I keep saying suck, that in this context, maybe use a different word. This is going to be unenjoyable. The next little while is going to be intolerable. I won't enjoy the next little while at all. Yeah, let's use terms like that. It's gonna suck. Well, depends on how you feel about it. So it's not negative. Tolerable, like, I mean, I don't, yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's not negative, but I wouldn't be like, hey, this is happening and I'm just totally fine with it. But I mean, more tolerable than negative. You know, I wouldn't say interesting, like I would like to make this happen at some point. And I wouldn't say desirable as in like I would like to make this happen tonight, you know. Tolerable would be like, well, this is happening. A negative would be like, I hate that this is happening. And it's like somewhere more close to this than this. So it wouldn't be like I'm okay with this happening. It's fine. It's a whatever. Versus like I hate that this is happening. It'd be more like, well, this isn't what I normally go in for, but we're here, I guess. Oh man, I made a joke about because this came up. Okay, you're gonna think I'm a terrible, terrible teacher, and you're probably right. That's these all these things are true. So I have a student who spends way too much time with his girlfriend, and they're always like smooching and whatnot in front of my classroom, and um, and I needed him to get to class because my air conditioner has been broken. We've been having class in my colleague next door in his classroom, and I'm like, come on, like, you guys making out is disgusting. Like, it's putting into question the entire necessity of heterosexuality as a freaking concept. He's like, and then when he comes, he's like, wait, the idea of me and my girlfriend being together is making you gay? And I'm like, yeah, it's totally. Like, heterosexuality, maybe I don't need it if this is what that means. Like, looking at you and your girlfriend, bleh. and he's like, what? So you're gonna, like, kiss Steinmiller? And Steinmiller is my colleague, by the way. I name everyone but myself. Everyone's going down for this. But not I. I will escape unscathed. No one shall know who I am. Moo-hoo-ha-ha-ha-ha. There's no way of knowing who the voice on the other end of this microphone is. There's no way of looking it up. There's no way of figuring it out. Anyway, regardless. So, yeah, he was like, so are you just going to kiss Steinmiller now? I was like, I looked at my colleague and, like, I was like, no, because what if I'm Hooks and he's Loops and we get stuck together? We both have beards. That's what makes that funny. Like, what if I'm Hooks and he's Loops and we just get stuck together? I don't know, like, I want to kiss him for that long. That's more gay than I'm willing to be the first time out. Uh, anyway, and he's like, wait, what if you were Loops? And I'm like, what, you call me Loops over here? I told you it'd be my first time. How am I Loops all of a sudden? Like, calling me Loops, this guy over here. So I think tolerable is like not Loops, it's Hooks. Anyway. Uh, oh, that's less than it was last time, actually. The last time I took it, it was, uh, yeah. Oh, they're just incidental homosexual tendencies. Interesting. Yeah. Honestly, I think the last time I took it, it was the number 2, which is funny because, like, you know, I was thinking about videos that I've made in the past couple of weeks. I do a lot of gay voices, and I've done a lot of gay humor, or humor about gayness. And, dingus kitties. Anyway, and somebody said something about, like, oh, when you're in an altered brain state, like, you must be slightly more gay. Um, I was like, yeah, that's probably true. So I figured that, like, I was, like, normally here, and then, like, that when I'm the way I am right now, that I'm more here. Which I don't know that that is true. Yeah, that seems, I don't know, seems more right. I feel like it should be farther up, mostly because I identify as an ally. Like, I really try to stand up for my LGBTQ students, and am, like, supportive of my, like, I've always told my children, like, hey, if you're gay, like, I am totally fine with it. Like, you are always loved, you know, because I've always thought, like, wouldn't it be a shame if we didn't have a gay kid, you know, because, like, there's always going to be a certain percentage of the population that's going to be gay. I mean, that's just a given. And what a shame it would be if, another gay kid ended up in a family who wasn't going to be supportive, you know? And I know that that's not how genetics work, but like, uh, but yeah, it was like, I hope one of my kids is gay because, like, and this is not for those of you who are like, I wonder if that's why. No, like, I actually haven't ever voiced that with anyone other than my wife, is saying that, like, not that I think that I'm the greatest of all possible parents, but that, like, I think I could be a better parent to a gay kid than anyone who is, like, religiously opposed and whatnot, which is the problem for a lot of gay kids, having parents who are religiously opposed. And interestingly, if the parent of a gay kid is not supportive, they're 8 times more likely to attempt suicide in their lifetime. 8 times more likely. That's insane. And so, like, just the necessity of kid being like, I'm gay, and parent being like, that is okay with me, I still love you. Like, the fact that, kid is this or more, and parent is like, that's not okay, we don't love you if you're not, like, this one, only this one. And yeah, like, and then kid gets disowned, left out on the street. I mean, there's a homeless gay problem in Utah. Like, perfectly good, healthy, normal, smart, fun, great to be around, wonderful teenage kids, homeless because they're like, hey, mom, dad, I'm like here or more. And parents were like, no, not my kid. You either this or get the frick out. And kid couldn't. Like, it's impossible. And kid gets kicked the frick out and is living on the streets. And parents, what are parents doing? Like, your parents, you gonna let a kid be out on the street because they're here or more and they don't want to be like this because they can't? Like, okay, but yeah, this is what I would think. So this is classic bisexual. This would be bisexual prefers women. This would be bisexual prefers men. So this, which is like more, I would say this, like, more than a little, like, tending toward bisexuality, like a non-insignificant amount, because this would be insignificant amount or less. This would be non-insignificant amount, to where you have to be like, yeah, because I'll tell you, like, it's not that I'm openly attracted to a lot of people of the same sex. That is not true. I'm mostly attracted to members of the opposite sex. But, like, the fact that I'm willing to admit to myself that it's not exclusively, makes me think that, like, anyway, that there's some, like, 1.5-ish, 1.37 on the Kinsey scale. Like, not so much that you'd round up to 2, but, like, you round down to 1 reluctantly. You're like, oh, when you're rounding, do you ever feel bad for rounding down a number when you're like, ooh, if you were 1.1, I'd be like, you should have worked harder. But like you're 1.37, that's like pretty decent, but I gotta round you down, buddy. Like, I'm sorry, you can't be 2. Numbers that get rounded down. Hey, let's have a moment of silence for numbers that get rounded down. I'm thinking about you, all the numbers in the 2 to 3 range. 4s, the ridiculous thing about 4s is it feels like if you really wanted it, you would have made it. You're a 4. You got caught slacking at the finish line. Like that's all that is. 4s coming in here. But like we're gonna have a moment of silence for all the 2s and 3s, those mid to high 2s, and those anywhere in the range of 3s, where I'm leaving 22 out of this. 22, frick no. 1.22, no. You don't feel like rounding that up. That's stupid. What are you, stupid? Rounding up 1.22. You feel bad about that? We have mental problems? Okay, look, we're going to have a moment of silence. When I say mid 2s, I mean 2.5 and up. Because, like, for some reason, 0.25, that's a quarter. And we think of that as more than it actually is. But because it's a proportion that we recognize and deal with on a regular basis, we're kind of like, 0.25. Why is that not round upable? Our brain says that. That's not what it is, obviously. I mean, we know how to round. We're just talking about numbers that we feel bad for not being able to round. And you don't feel bad for the 4s, because if they would have tried harder, they would have been 5s. You don't feel bad for the 1s, because they didn't try hardly at all. You don't feel bad for 1.11 or 1.21, 1.22, 1.23, or 1.24. 1.24, it's got a 4 in it. Those 4s, like, you should have tried harder. You should have tried harder, right? Because you could have been a 1.25, and then I'm starting to think about quarters and rounding you up, and then I feel bad. Like, we always feel bad about rounding down numbers of a certain range. It's very human. Don't act like I'm the only one who does that. Okay, anyway, we need to pull up. All right, we gotta take it back. Oh, yeah, not that far back. We're not playing the stupid game from 2 weeks ago. Anyway, this was ads for drugs that don't get ads. Ad number 1. Are you mega super ultra gay? Hold up, I need some water. I like how I'm much more like, hey, this is weekend type fun after hours. You've seen me take the Kinsey test and like take the answers super seriously. So like, we know each other. Like, I don't have to put on airs with you anymore. Okay. Ad number 1. Are you mega super ultra gay? Are you finding it harder and harder to take an unlubed bowling pin? Man, what are you? Are you gay? Are you even gay at that point? Are people talking behind your back saying you aren't the power bottom you used to be? Man, remember when you were like the ultimate power bottom? You were like, bowling pin, no problem. I have several locations available. Yeah, people are pointing and laughing. Did you know there's a drug you can take it to loosen all your body's sphincters? Yep, even that one. Talk about especially that one. Jeez, I mean, right? You don't want, so you get so that, anyway, you loosen them sphincters, even that one. Ask your doctor about poppers. Poppers loosen your pooper and make it so you can take any random household object and think it feels good. Get that zap, the amyl nitrite. Not nitrate, by the way. That's different. They are. You want the nitrite. That's poppers. Anyway, and the pineapple lamp goes in the booty hole. There you go. Poppers. Side effects may include pineapple lamp lodged firmly in butthole. Failing to budge neither forward nor backward, giving doctors a head-scratching problem and giving patient a screaming anal bleedage. Poppers. Ask your doctor if poppers are right for you. You gotta be super gay, though. Must be Richard Simmons or greater. Ad number 2. Are you a woman? First of all, wow, congrats on losing the genetic lottery. Good luck with your dingus matched set of chromosomes. I wrote this a while ago, and I did not remember. I'm finding my own self. I'm like, who wrote this? This is good writing. This is good writing. Like, hey, are you up for an Emmy? Are you an Emmy Award winner? Do you know a woman named Emmy? Can you tell her congrats with your dingus matched chromosomes? Like, wow, 2 X's. Like, that's original. Do you get sad sometimes with your womaninity? Seriously, as if leaving you at home with no other options in your life wasn't enough. Now you want to tell me you're crying into the laundry just because it's a chore that never stays done? What? I'm getting a kick out of it because I forgot what it was. I don't remember these slides at all, but they're pretty good. Did you ask? You might ask your husband if you can take a part-time job as a receptionist, but he'll just remind you that that's a job for unmarried uggos who can't get a man. I remember I had to Google like ugly receptionists, and then they were giving me actual women, and then I saw the cartoon one, and I was like, oh, thank God. Because I didn't want to put a picture of an actual woman and be like, she's an uggo. Like, what? And also, all of the women in the pictures were not, they were not uggos. They look perfectly nice. Professional. You know what? I shouldn't comment on their appearance because I'm a professional man. They're professional women. We go about our business with mutual respect, and she is never going to have to worry about me, ever, because I know and respect boundaries. You're welcome. I don't care that you're an uggo, you stupid receptionist. I respect the hell out of you. I respect your right to not get asked on dates, because that would over-sexualize your responsibilities. But also, you're an uggo, and I don't want to go with you. You know, the office box lunch social? Like, when we have a box lunch social, like we're in the friggin' Play, Oklahoma, but we do it at friggin', like, the office where we adjust insurance claims. Like, yeah, let's do that. You answer the phone for some of the most boring office workers, the most boring office drones, and you're just sitting there like, maybe one of them will ask me to the box social. And it's like, what even is this company? What? You have a box social at your dingus insurance company? What? And then you're waiting on some boy to be like, Why, Miss Martha, I do declare your sundress looks as if it hath been cut from a fresh tablecloth, not like that used up old tattered rag that I see Miss Charlotte wearing over there. Anyway, like, what is your company? Also, I'm not going on a date with you because you are not my wife. You thought I was going to say Uggo, right? Well, I respect women, you jerk. How dare you perpetuate unfair stereotypes, objectifying women as if that's the only quality they bring into this world? They bring us into this world, humanity itself, life itself into this world, and you judging this cartoon woman based on her appearance. Is it the freckles? It's the freckles, isn't it? You racist. I am ashamed. I am ashamed to have made you up in my mind and then talked about you for 5 minutes, wasting precious time. People came to see me take the Kinsey test and nothing else, and we're still doing slides, and they're losing patience in this video, and moving on. So what can you do? You can take a little yellow pill, wash it down with a box Chardonnay, and all your problems will melt away. Heck, you might even learn to enjoy doing that laundry. Valium, for when being a woman is a bit just your laundry. Valium, for when a woman is just a bit too what garbage. Hey, don't judge her like you're some friggin' prize. Like, do you think you would be drawn this nicely if you were a cartoon? Come on. Also, you're sexist. You need to know. Get happy on the little yellow pills. Valium, for when being a woman is just a bit too much and feminism hasn't been invented yet. Do you see how hold on, I gotta sneeze. Just wait for me to sneeze. Any moment now, I will be sneezing, and I distracted myself from my own sneeze, which I now hate myself for and would punch myself in the face if only I wouldn't have to suffer alongside myself for the crap that I have caused to my own self. Sneezing when you need to is what you need to do. Self. So mean to me. That's ridiculous. He is so mean to me. Calls me a fatso every morning. Tells me that I'm not achieving enough at this point in my life with my gray hairs and my old face. Man. What? I forgot what I was talking about, but that I was just being mean to myself for some reason. I am fine with me. I have met me before. I can be a very nice person to know, I think. I try to be. If I haven't been to you, I apologize. I really do. Anyway, moving on. Hey! It's a list of cities God will have smitten by this time next year. Projected. Obviously, it's a projection because we are projecting about a list of cities. God Almighty, God the Father, God the Son, and God Spectre from DC Comics. Because he's cool. He's really cool. Anyway, especially, isn't it Michelle Montoya now? Is that her name? Michelle Montoya. Hey Siri, is Michelle Montoya the Spectre? No, not the Spectre. That's
I don't have that information.
the Spectre is I'm thinking of the question. The question. Michelle Obama. She's delightful. Michelle Montoya, the question. Because in, like. Oh, Michelle Rudd. What? Oh. Renee Montoya. Renee Montoya. Sorry. The question. What am I talking about? This is a list of cities that God. Oh, right. God the Father, God the Son, and God the Spiritu Sancto will have smitten by this time next year. Projected, obviously, because it's in the future. San Francisco, because of gay. I need not tell you this. You knew. Paris, because of French. Also, quite obvious. Göteborg, Sweden, because communism. God hates communists. He only loves Americans. 'Cause I will stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt of this land. God bless the USA. Yeah. Did you like that pointless key change in the middle when I couldn't find the right note? Yeah, because I'm proud to be it. Anyway, I don't need to sing that song. I am not that proud to be an American. I mean, I don't hate it, but I see all the ways in which America could do better. I'm just saying. Anyway, Göteborg, Sweden. Göteborg, Sweden, because communism. San Antonio, Tejas, because of Manu friggin' Ginobili. Look, he's doing the devil horns. He is, you know what's funny is when I put that picture up, I predicted that my brain would be like, he's doing the devil horns because, Satan. Anyway, and then my brain did, but it was hours ago that I decided that I would put that picture in. And so, I mean, not that many hours ago, but like it was a while ago. And my brain did exactly what I thought it would do. There you go, brain. Hey, bring it in, brain. Let's give me a hug. Oh, I wish you could see the look on my face when my brain gave me a hug. Okay. The entire state of Florida, because of a front to God himself. That is an actual satellite photo of Florida that we are looking at. Sorry that you can't see the panhandle. We destroyed it with nukes. Had to be done. St. John's, Arizona, because local coal plant will close soon. It's true. I was going to be funny and put because nepotism on here. But this is my hometown, and my parents moved there. They only moved away like 2 years ago. No, it was only a year ago. Yeah, cause yeah, I'm 41. Yeah, I'm 41, and my parents moved there the year before I was born, and lived there for 40 years. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, regardless, yeah, my parents lived there for a long time. And the only thing that brought my parents there was the job that my dad took at the power plant. And that power plant is going to close soon. And that's where so many of the jobs locally are. And so, my town, which, hasn't thrived as much as the towns in the surrounding area who are more in the main thoroughfare of, traveling around that part of the state. I'm thinking like Show Low, for example. Round Valley gets its sunrise traffic. Even Snowflake is doing considerably more with development. And yes, Taylor, Snowflake Taylor, dinguses. Uh, like, how uppity can you be to be from the town next to the town that, like, nobody's heard of either of your dingus towns, Snowflake and Taylor? Like, you can quit feuding over which one is more important, because outside of your little world, nobody, like, people in the state of Arizona don't know your town. Like, people who have lived their entire lives in this state don't know your town. So you can cool it. Like, okay. Anyway, but yeah, my hometown has not developed as much over the past several years. And when that coal plant closes, that's it. Like, a lot of the town is going to die because people are going to move away. And, our great school district, which has been so dominant in two things: academic decathlon, which matters, and football, which, I guess is football. It's not that I don't like football. I do like football. It's just that, like, you're a school. Be more proud of the many more championships you've won in academic decathlon than you have of the much fewer championships you've won in football, even though a significant number of championships. It's like a solid number. Anyway, but, like, we'll go from being a reasonably large powerhouse kind of school to being like powerhouse in a small, in 2A. We'll go down to being a 1A, And I think Pima's a 2A now. Pima, like, they were tiny when we lived there. We used to live there. Anyway. Just give away my whole life story. Why not? Anyway. Oh, Minneapolis, Minnesota, because basically Canadian. Or basically Canada. I can read. Look, you know what? I make no apologies to Minneapolis, but Canada, I'm sorry. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all of us command. Look, hey, when I learned it, I don't always remember. When I learned it, it was in all thy sons command. But, like, I've had to adjust to my brain. Because they were like, let's be more inclusive, and instead of all thy sons, be in all of us. And some Canadians were like, but the original national anthem, though. And it's like, do you realize, you idiot, that the French have been singing a national anthem which, when translated from French back into English, is to the same friggin' tune, but the lyrics have nothing to do with the actual things the English lyrics are saying. You translate the French lyrics of O Canada into English, and it's like war and whatnot, and also we should be our own thing because we're French Canadian, is like a whole thing. And yeah, so, like, people who get upset that they changed it from all thy sons to all of us, like, Be mad at the French first. Settle that. Actually, you are mad at the French first. Except for they have the best goalies. They make the best goalies. I'm not kidding. Like, that's what French Canadians are for, is being goalies. It's true. Anyway. And sometimes you have to face the really harsh truths about yourself. Dolphins think they're so smart. But why is it every time I go to SeaWorld, they aren't smart enough to see the punches coming? Take that, you dingus dolphin. Think you're so smart, why can't you see this punch coming? I punched you the same time last year, and now it's me in a pair of Groucho nose and eyebrow glasses, and you didn't realize it was me and that you were going to get punched? Stupid dolphin. You think you're so smart. Okay, look. If man flesh were on the menu in a fancy restaurant in a country where they aren't so uppity with the laws, with all the like, hey, you got to follow the law and stuff. They're like less uppity than that. Would you order it? The man flesh. Not because, no, look, just to see. Like, not, you don't get it. Like, no, not because of that. Like, just, aren't you curious? Like, a little bit? Like, what if it didn't look like a recognizable, it didn't look like a foot or something? Like, if it was, like, pulled human. You know what I'm saying? You know, you like pulled pork, you put it on a bun, you do a little barbecue sauce, and it's good. Pull that human. What's it going to be like? First of all, I'm assuming you can pull human. Second of all, man flesh. Weißes Fleisch. Anyway, regardless, I don't know any Rammstein lyrics, so don't ask. It's like, du hast mich gefragt. Anyway, regardless. Hey, what's under there? Seriously, what is it? I give up. Look, I give up. I will gain nothing from this. You can just tell me so that we can both move on with our lives. What is it? What is it? Stephen, tell him to tell me. Stephen, Steve, Esteban, tell him to tell me. What is it? Huh? You just keep secrets, huh? All right. See how far that gets you in the coming Hunger Games. Yeah, it's gonna happen. That was a future documentary of what will have happened in the future. Also, we're gonna start naming kids Katniss, apparently. Got an itch in a private place? Hire out-of-work baseball players because they could use the money, and they always getting all scratchy in them crotchetal areas and the nooks and crandles and the whatnots. See, he got his nook by the crandle. You get, like, look, I took the Kinsey test. It doesn't bother me to see a grown man grab his nook by the crandle. Especially because he's fully clothed. Not like that one guy who grabbed his nook by the crandle in an alley and was like, look at it. And I'm like, God. I just invented a terrible story. And it is not true. Please know that, ladies and gentlemen. Do not believe in the truthfulness of that story. Also, if you are my wife, this is for an audience of one, this part right here. I have gotten upset with students who have watched my videos and they've all stopped. No one watches them. I'm the only one who ever sees this. So, yeah. Don't worry. It's fine. I have a friend who can speak perfectly intelligible English, but he can only speak it in half-grunted monosyllabic bursts. Me think him sound like big dumbass. Oh, God. I love the fact that this guy, like, someone's wearing the suit, right? And even if this head is photoshopped on, someone is filling out this suit reasonably well to the point where, like, they're not ripped like this, but you could just put the loincloth on and be like, here's my costume. But because you put it on as a, anyway, regardless, it's just like, to what percent does the man underneath this suit look like the suit? And can I have his number? Because I learned some news about myself tonight, and I'm going to lick him like a postage stamp. Which is ridiculous, because they're all self-adhesive now, and that doesn't, like, I guarantee kids, if they ever hear this, which they won't, Mrs. my wife, my lovely wife, they won't hear this. Anyway, but yeah, if they did, they'd be like, who licks a postage stamp? Like, what? Doesn't make any sense to me. Everything is self-sealing and, like, pre-adhesive pasted. If given ultimate power, how long until I become a delusional, overbearing tyrant? Not long, or maybe much long than you had thinked. Like, think about it. Think about how long, if given ultimate power, how long it would be before I was just unbearable. To where, like, you would have to form a super squad of super awesome pals to come and beat me down. Because, like, I would just be too overbearing. Like, how long would I have to have the ultimate power? Like, not long or much long? I think there's no idea of, like, oh, it's going to be much long because he's going to be training. But it'd be, oh, it's going to be much long because now that he has ultimate power, he's using it to, like, go on sweet golf cart rides with his favorite hockey players. Like, what? Anyway, regardless, that's what would take time. Like, come on, Matt Sundin. Come on, Ty Domi. Let's do this. Why am I taking Ty Domi? What the frick? Like, Matt Sundin and Felix Potvin. Like, what? That don't make no sense, Ty Domi. I mean, I don't dislike Ty Domi. It's just, I would take Darcy Tucker first. And, like, a lot of people. Anyway, regardless. If given ultimate power, how long before I'm in golf carts with hockey players? Yeah, I think it would be a while because I would be too distracted by the ultimate power and I'd be using it for completely frivolous things. And then eventually I would become a terrible tyrant. You know, which honestly, when I was thinking about this, I was originally thinking of Galadriel from Lord of the Rings and how she is like, you know, if I took this ring, then you would have a queen, beautiful and terrible. All would look on me in despair. Like, oh, God, like, yeah, Galadriel, holy crap, that's true. Kate Blanchett, I would look on you in despair. Like, sure, if you had the Ring of Power, yeah, probably. Anyway, so I would definitely become a delusional, overbearing tyrant very quickly as well. And I'm as self-conscious as Galadriel. Thank you. Es muy preciosa, no? The funny thing is that I pronounced my preciosa like I am from España. I know it's not España, it's España, but Barcelona, because it's the C's which are lisped and not the S's. Anyway, also at one point I knew who this was. I was like, hey Google, give me a random picture. And then it was like, oh, this is the one that went moo, and it became like a viral hit. All right. Now I know that. I don't remember what this person's name is, but that was the article that this picture came from. Fun fact. Fart on a cooler is much moosh louder than farting into air. You see this woman? She's just like ripping farts on this ice cooler. It is like a sounding board. It makes your farts so much more satisfyingly louder. Like just rat-tat-tat-tat-tat. Like, oh my God. You just laying them farts down and it's like brr, 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 brr. And then it echoes on the inside and you're like, dang, man. Cooler is much cooler. Anyway, thank you. This has been a presentación of Univision. Up next is Sábado Gigante. Univision. Esta noche. This episode of Non Sequitur Theater was written, directed, and parvanted to you by Ernesto Raul. Okay, let's take it again. Sorry. Take 57. This episode of Non Sequitur Theater was written, directed, and parvanted to you by Ernesto Raul Martinez, a very Mexican man indeed. Okay, these are the top 10 signs that God hates you and has abandoned you in favor of a much younger and hotter child. God doesn't love all of his children equally. He loves all of them, but he doesn't love them all equally. Never says that he does. So he going for that young hot one because you are like, so not worth his time. Sorry to tell you. Anyway, number 10. Sign that God hates you and has abandoned you in favor of a younger, hotter, more faithful child. No strawberry danishes in the continental breakfast. Number 9, massive crotch itch and not an unemployed baseball player in sight. Number 8, lame comedian points out his own callback, thus negating the hilarity the callback caused in the first place. Number 7, rectal bleeding. Number 6, grocery store is out of the good tomatoes. Number 5, every item on this list being perhaps too proportionally similar. Call back to what number 8 said. Get it? Get it? These jokes are going nowhere. Pointing out that 4 is 8 when divided by 2, which is the next number on this list. Yeah, 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 8. Oh, okay. When people laugh when they see the word retard on sheet music. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's when people laugh when they see the word retard, which is short for retardando, which, like, what it means is slow it down. Like, retarded used to actually just mean slow moving through developmental stages. And so when you called someone retarded back in the day, it was like you're having a hard time moving through these mental stages. And but there's retardando, which in music means slow the music down, and retarded meant mentally slow, not catching up with peers at the expected time. Anyway, and so yeah, when people see retardando, which means slow it down, and then they think about like, oh, kids who are retarded, ha 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 ha, and then they see retardando on their sheet music, and they're like, oh, it says retard because it normally says retard period to save space. Anyway, regardless. Number one on his top 10 on his top, wait, what was this top 10 list for again? Oh, yeah, I read my own joke wrong. That's great. Let's take it back one. All right. And number one. Wait, what was this top 10 list for again? Also, weren't 90% of David Letterman's number ones on his top 10 lists always the most disappointing jokes on the list? Like the number of times when you go 10 to 1 and be like, okay, which one's the least funny? It's always number one. Always in every list. Anyway. Hey, why are you not clapping for me? For one, I threw you a goddamn balloon parade. I threw a goddamn balloon parade for you. Secondly, how did I even do this in my present state? Like, how did I make this? How is this being recorded right now and uploaded to YouTube for no one to watch except for me tomorrow? So clap. Clap. Those are angels because they're floating in the clouds. Clap like you've never clapped before. So to get this image, I just Googled Revive Tinkerbell, and this is the image they gave me. Like literally the first Google image on the search was like, oh, you mean this? And I'm like, that's not how he does it, right? The kids just clapped to revive. The kids just clapped to revive her. Yeah, they just had to be like, I do believe in fairies. I do. And then just clap. That's it. They didn't swat that good little bad fairy bottom. There's good little bad fairy. Anyway, that's creepy. Who wrote this? Certainly not me. I guess what I'm saying is that there wasn't much likelihood that she'd end up with the clap in the original version, but they did clap and bring her back. Pretty sure that they did clap, if to help Tinkerbell live. And in the Mary Martin version, it's just like a light in a box, and it's not very exciting. And also, the Mary Martin version creeps me out. Why always be like, it will be a full-grown woman in the role of Peter Pan, the boy who wanted to stay a little boy forever. It's like, yeah, would being a full-grown woman help me to play that role? And surprisingly, they were like, we are taking auditions from no one else for the main role, other than, clearly women. Anyway, regardless. Oh man, if I left the original slide in its original font, it would have been significantly more hard to read, because it would look an awful lot like this, basically. Name one grown adult who maintains a serious devotion to Disney, whose opinion on anything I should actually take seriously as if they were an actual fellow human being. Like, name one. An adult who takes Disney seriously, whose opinion on anything I should actually trust. And I'm telling you what right now, Don Bluth, brah. His movies were so much darker and so much more cool. Like, look at Secret of Nim. How cool is it? And dark and whatnot. It's cool. Okay, I am so glad I'm on this slide because I've been thinking about nothing but ice cream and Minecraft the whole time. This is probably the world's worst video because the only thing I was thinking about, I was never thinking about like, hey, be funny and stuff because it's being recorded on a video. All I was thinking was ice cream and Minecraft. Anyway, I'm sorry this video happened, and you'll never get this time back in your life. So, give up on trying. All right, bye.